There's a routine Japanese students follow that makes them learn faster, remember longer, and outperform almost everyone else. It's not genetics, it's not longer hours, it's not some secret herb. It's a daily routine so simple, you'll kick yourself for not doing it sooner. And today, I'm breaking down the exact 5 habits that make Japanese students unfairly smart. By the end of this video, you'll have a system that multiplies your learning speed. Let's go. Here's what most people do. They cram, they multitask, they study until 2 a.m., fueled by coffee and panic. They read the same paragraph 5 times because their brain checked out after sentence 1. They highlight everything in the textbook, which is the same as highlighting nothing. They tell themselves, I'll remember this, and then forget it within 24 hours. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Your brain isn't the problem. Your routine is. Western education taught us to learn harder. More hours, more cramming, more suffering. Japanese education teaches something different. Learn smarter. It's not about how long you study. It's about when you study, how you structure your day, and what you do between learning sessions. The Japanese educational system consistently ranks in the top 5 globally. And it's not because Japanese students study more hours than you. It's because they've engineered a daily routine that works with the brain's natural learning mechanisms, not against them. So let's break down the 5 habits. Habit number 1, Asaichi, the morning market for your brain. In Japan, there's a concept called Asaichi, the early morning market, where the freshest, highest quality goods are sold. Japanese students apply this to learning. They wake up early and tackle their hardest mental work first thing in the morning. Not email, not social media, not easy busy work. The hardest, most important learning task of the day. Why? Because your brain is literally at its peak performance in the first 2 to 3 hours after waking. Here's the neuroscience. During sleep, your brain clears out adenosine, the chemical that makes you feel mentally tired. When you wake up, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, logic, and learning, is fully charged. Your willpower is maxed out. Your attention span is longest. Your ability to understand complex concepts is at its peak. This is your cognitive prime time, and most people waste it scrolling Instagram or checking emails. Japanese students don't. They use those first 2 hours for what they call morning study, tackling the subjects that require the most brain power: math, physics, new language vocabulary, complex concepts. The rule is simple. Hardest learning task, first thing after breakfast, before your brain gets polluted by the day's distractions. Studies show that students who study difficult material in the morning retain 30% more information than those who study the same material at night. Habit number 2, Hansei, deep self-reflection. This is where Western and Eastern learning philosophies completely diverge. In the West, we learn something, take a test, get a grade, move on, done. In Japan, there's a practice called Hansei, which means reflection or looking back. Every evening, Japanese students spend 10 to 15 minutes reviewing what they learned that day. Not rereading, not restudying, reflecting. They ask themselves 3 questions. What did I learn today? What didn't I understand? How does this connect to what I already know? This isn't homework, it's active memory consolidation. Here's why it's so powerful. Your brain doesn't actually learn during the lesson. It learns when you recall the lesson. Every time you force your brain to retrieve information, you strengthen the neural pathways that store that information. It's like working out. You don't build muscle during the workout, you build it during recovery when your body repairs the muscle fibers. Learning is the same. The real learning happens during reflection, during recall. Japanese students do this daily, so by the end of the week, they've recalled the material 7 times without studying more hours. Meanwhile, Western students wait until the night before the exam to recall anything, and by then, it's too late. The neural pathways never formed. Here's your Hansei routine. Every evening before bed, open a blank page. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Write down everything you learned today from memory, no notes, no textbooks. Write down what confused you, what questions you still have. Write down how today's learning connects to what you already know. That's it. 10 minutes. But those 10 minutes do more for your long-term retention than 3 hours of cramming. Habit number 3, strategic break structure. The Japanese timing system. You've probably heard of the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of work, 5-minute break. Japanese students do something similar, but with a crucial difference. They use a 50 to 10 system, 50 minutes of focused study, 10-minute break. But here's the twist. They use the break strategically. During the 10-minute break, they don't scroll their phone. They don't watch videos. They don't do anything cognitively demanding. They do one of 3 things. Walk outside, movement plus nature. Close their eyes and do nothing. Meditation, do light stretching, body movement. Why? Because your brain consolidates information during rest, not during more stimulation. When you scroll TikTok during your study break, you're not giving your brain a break. You're overloading it with new information, so nothing consolidates. But when you walk, stretch, or close your eyes, your brain enters what's called the default mode network. This is when your brain processes what you just learned, makes connections, moves information from short-term to long-term memory. Studies show that students who take active rest breaks retain 40% more information than students who take passive entertainment breaks. Here's the system. Set a timer for 50 minutes. Study one subject. Deep focus, no phone. When the timer goes off, set another timer for 10 minutes. Stand up. Walk outside if possible. If not, close your eyes and sit still. No podcasts, no music with lyrics, no phone, just rest. Let your brain process. After 3 cycles, 2.5 hours total, take a longer 30-minute break. Eat, move, completely disconnect. This is how Japanese students study for 6 to 8 hours a day without burning out. They're not actually studying for 8 hours, they're studying for 5 hours and resting strategically for 3. And they learn more than someone who studies for 8 hours straight while multitasking. Habit number 4, sleep structure. This one will change your life. Japanese students don't just prioritize sleep, they structure it. Your sleep happens in 90-minute cycles. Each cycle has stages: light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. Most people set an alarm based on 8 hours and wake up feeling like trash. Why? Because they're waking up in the middle of a sleep cycle, usually during deep sleep, which makes you feel groggy, foggy, and stupid all morning. Japanese students calculate their sleep in 90-minute increments. If they need to wake up at 6 a.m., they don't go to bed at 10 p.m., 8 hours. They go to bed at 10:30 p.m., 5 complete 90-minute cycles equals 7.5 hours, or 9 p.m., 6 complete cycles equals 9 hours. The goal is to wake up at the end of a sleep cycle, not in the middle. When you wake up at the end of a cycle, you wake up refreshed, alert, ready to learn. Here's the science. During REM sleep, the last stage of each cycle, your brain consolidates memories. It processes what you learned that day and files it into long-term storage. If you cut your sleep short or wake up mid-cycle, you interrupt this process. The information you learned doesn't get properly stored. That's why you can study for hours, get 5 hours of bad sleep, and remember nothing the next day. Japanese students know this, so they protect their sleep cycles like their life depends on it. Here's how to implement it. Calculate backwards from your wake-up time in 90-minute increments. Need to wake at 6 a.m. Your sleep options are 9 p.m., 6 cycles, 10:30 p.m., 5 cycles, or 12 a.m., 4 cycles. Pick the one that gives you 5 to 6 complete cycles. Set your bedtime alarm. Stick to it. Do this for 1 week. You'll feel the difference. Your morning brain will be sharper. You'll remember more. You'll learn faster. All because you're waking up at the right point in your sleep cycle. Habit number 5, teaching practice, the ultimate learning accelerator. There's a saying in Japan, to teach is to learn twice. Japanese students don't just learn material, they teach it out loud to themselves or others. This is based on the Feynman technique, named after physicist Richard Feynman. The principle is simple. If you can't explain something in simple terms, you don't actually understand it. Here's what Japanese students do. After learning a new concept, they imagine they're teaching it to a 10-year-old. They speak out loud. They explain the concept using simple language. No jargon, no complexity. If they get stuck, they stop. Go back to the material. Figure out where their understanding broke down, then they try again. This does two things. First, it forces active recall. You can't teach something without pulling it from your memory, and every recall strengthens the memory. Second, it exposes gaps in your understanding immediately. You can't bullshit yourself when you're teaching out loud. You either understand it or you don't. And if you don't, you know exactly what to review. Studies show that students who use the teaching method retain 90% of material after 1 week. Compare that to students who just read and highlight. They retain less than 10%. It's not even close. Here's your teaching practice. After each study session, stand up. Pretend you're teaching the concept to someone who knows nothing about it. Speak out loud, use simple language. Explain it like you're talking to a curious kid. If you stumble, stop. Go back to the material. Figure out what you're missing, then try again. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes after every study session. Your understanding will go from surface level to deep mastery. This is how Japanese students learn complex material faster than anyone else. They're not smarter. They're just teaching themselves as they go. So here's the complete Japanese learning routine that makes you unfairly smart. Morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Wake up at the same time. End of sleep cycle. Light breakfast. Asaichi. 90 minutes on your hardest learning task. No distractions. No phone. Pure focus. Study sessions throughout the day. 50 minutes. Deep focus on one subject. 10 minutes active rest. Walk, stretch, or eyes closed. After every session, 5 minutes teaching practice. Explain it out loud. Repeat 3 to 4 cycles. Evening, 9 to 9:15 p.m. Hansei, 10 to 15 minutes of reflection. Write down what you learned today from memory. Write down what confused you. Write down connections to existing knowledge. Sleep. Calculate backwards from wake time. Go to bed at a time that gives you 5 to 6 complete 90-minute sleep cycles. Protect this time. Non-negotiable. That's the system. 5 habits. Engineered around how your brain actually learns. You don't need to be Japanese to use this routine. You don't need to move to Tokyo or learn a new language. You just need to structure your day around how your brain actually works. Morning focus, strategic breaks, daily reflection, sleep cycles, teaching practice. These 5 habits will make you learn faster, remember longer, and outperform almost everyone around you. Not because you're working harder, because you're working with your brain's natural rhythms. Try it for 1 week, just 1 week. I promise you'll see the difference. Now stop watching this video and go implement it. You've got learning to do.